tonight, let's start out with Spirit is Calling, Answer Boldly. This is a journal by Chris Michaels and Edward Viljoen. At some point, we will have to decide on whose authority we stand. Will we let out what we have inside proudly and honorably? Or will we keep hiding who we are, fearing that we're not good enough? To be or not to be, that is the question. And it is a question that we each have to answer for ourselves every day. What God has placed inside you is far too compelling. Eventually, you will have to let it loose on the world. It's really just a matter of time. The question isn't whether you will answer your call or not. The question is when. Spirit is calling. Are you listening? So the question that we ask is, what is the boldest answer we can make when Spirit calls? What's the boldest answer in our life that we can make when Spirit calls? It seems to me that the first answer that we make is the answer of faith, living in faith. That is the boldest answer that we can make. So what is faith? How do you define it? My favorite definition of faith is, I'll see it when I believe it. Now, most of us think that we'll believe it when we see it. The problem is that we're waiting to know something when it's actually already present, and that's not faith. Faith is a willingness to step out boldly in our own lives, knowing that we're supported and not necessarily having to see it. Many of us think that, well, I'll move or I'll do or I'll say or I'll whatever it is when I know what's the right thing to do or when I feel what the right thing to do is. The challenge with that is that we're waiting to know. And when we know, then there isn't anything that requires our faith. Faith is being willing to step out in complete and utter trust, not necessarily knowing, not necessarily being sure. When I think about faith, my favorite image of that is the Indiana Jones movie, when he gets to the edge of the canyon and it's this big canyon and somehow he's supposed to get across and he doesn't know how. So he assumes that there's a way. He believes that there's a way, but he can't see it. Now, so what does he do? He kicks out some sand and he realizes that there's an invisible bridge. And the sand that he kicks out shows him the first step. And that is all that he can see. But he steps out on that bridge. And then he takes another step and another step. And while the bridge is invisible, he knows that it's there. That's faith. There's a wonderful saying that says, when I get to the edge of all the light that I have, and I'm ready to step off into the unknown, I'll either step on solid ground or I'll be taught how to fly. So this week, as you think about answering boldly to what Spirit is calling you to do, the grand and glorious compulsion of your life, ask yourself, how do I answer boldly in faith?